Do you know how many rolls it takes for an aircraft to fly? In this video, we are going to try to find out what jobs are related to aviation. We hope this video will be useful for aviation enthusiasts and those who want to pursue a career in aviation. Flying people. The cabin crew helps passengers have a safe and comfortable journey from the moment they get on. Cabin crews are most familiar to us among the jobs related to the aviation business. The major task is to manage the safety of the cabin and provide customer service. Other than that, they inspect the security equipment in the cabin, scan the security, and check the loads such as carry-on bags. Most of all, the reason why cabin crews are there is to perform the safety work, including briefing the safety of the passengers and leading them to exits in an emergency situation. Pilots can refer to operators of all different kinds of flights. Each type of aircraft requires different work experience and qualifications. Firstly, when thinking of a pilot, we might think of those who operate the passenger plane and cargo plane, or a fighter pilot who first encounters the enemy in the situation of war. A passenger plane pilot has a lot to study, especially in navigation equipment and complex instrument approach procedures. A fighter pilot requires strength in order to face the situation encountering the acceleration of gravity that is much larger than one's weight and confront the high altitude with low oxygen. Also, there is a pilot called a test pilot, which is unfamiliar to us. A test pilot tests the newly developed aircraft or checks the existing aircraft. For instance, they check how fast and how high the newly developed aircraft can withstand. There is also a flight check pilot who inspects whether navigation safety facilities are normal and a pilot who operates the unmanned flight at the ground control station. Besides, there are pilots who operate the helicopter or jet used in a sightseeing guide, who are specialized in aerial photography for making an aerial map, operate a fire helicopter or a police helicopter that chases a criminal, a medical helicopter called air ambulance, and an aerobic pilot that shows amazing maneuvers. Those who are really rich might have a personal pilot who operates their own plane. People who plan and guide. Flight dispatchers are people who create, manage, and change the operation schedule of aircraft used in the air transport industry. They are employed by airlines and work in offices on the ground. Their main role is to set the appropriate airway and altitude, send flight information to the pilot, and calculate the fuel consumption of the aircraft. They help pilots by creating flight plans that take into account a number of essential information, such as weather. In other words, there are people who plan and manage the overall operation of the aircraft. Air traffic controllers are those who guide the pilots from the engine starting of an aircraft to its destination. They are responsible for arranging departure and landing sequences and directing and monitoring to maintain appropriate safety distances during the flight. They are the first to know about the emergency and take the first steps. They are mainly composed of an apron controller that monitors the inside of the apron, a tower controller that is responsible for the takeoff and landing phases, and a radar controller of the Radar Approach Facility, or ACC, that monitors and controls through the radar scope. Weather conditions are the most important factors in flight. The airport weather forecaster collects and analyzes information such as visibility, temperature, and air pressure required for the flight using a variety of observational equipment. These climate experts observe and collect the necessary weather information for aircraft and provide real-time weather information through air traffic control facilities, airlines, AFTN, etc. Aircraft's doctors. Aircraft mechanics have the regular checks based on the manual and manages the overall aircraft repair in the situation of any significance or problems. One aircraft is a collection of advanced technologies. Therefore, there is a need for specialists who are responsible for specific parts of the aircraft. Power plant mechanics are experts in engines, the heart of aircraft. They manage the engines, turbines, propellers, or other power-generating devices. Airframe mechanics are certified to work on everything but engines and avionics. They focus on looking for cracks and damage to the body of the aircraft, as well as replacing broken or worn parts. Like doctors, sometimes they use X-rays or magnetic or ultrasonic inspection equipment to discover cracks that cannot be seen on a plane's exterior. Also, there are electricians. The aircraft is connected with many electronic pieces of equipment, such as communication equipment, antenna, navigation systems, all kinds of switches, lights, and even a coffee pot and an oven for a cabin. That's why we need a professional who can deal with those related systems. Lastly, there are also mechanics on board the aircraft. They are flight engineers. Flight engineers operate all kinds of switches except aircraft flight control system while on the aircraft. They do not pilot the aircraft but help the pilot to have a safe flight. They examine if all flight instrument systems of the cockpit are normal and check the balance of the fuselage and the carrying capacity of fuel. People in charge of the ground. One aircraft parked at the airport requires the help of many people on the ground. Let's list out which roles are required. Aircraft follow-me vehicle operation, aircraft towing and pushback service to help aircraft safely enter the apron, bird control to prevent bird strike, load and unload passengers, luggage, and air cargo, step car and ramp bus operation, in-flight meal loading and setting services, laundry services for various in-flight items, cabin cleaning and aircraft exterior cleaning, and more. Services for supplying and exchanging water for in-flight use, waste treatment and water supply for toilet tanks, aircraft engine starting service, de-icing service, and cabin cooling and heating support services also belong to the ground staff. Can you imagine how many ground handlers would be busy at an airport with hundreds of aircraft? In addition to the jobs introduced in this video, there are many more subdivided jobs under the name of aviation workers. The common goal of all of us, aviation safety, can never be achieved by the ability of one particular person, or some who is cool and flashy. This is because the invisible roles of numerous aviation workers are only achieved when they are intertwined with precision like cogs. Let's pay our respects to the efforts of the aviation workers who kept our ordinary days safe today. ATC for you.